There's an example in Moodle which integrates a lot of what is interesting that we can do in terms of sign in and sign up. This includes hashing a password, and that means basically converting the password into a string, 128 characters in length, so that the actual password is not stored in the database. So that's really important. Okay, when you sign up. When you sign in, then your password needs to be hashed in the same way. Okay, and then you're comparing your hashed sign-in password with the hashed password that is in the record when you sign up. Okay, so the password itself is never stored. That's really important for security purposes. And the fourth thing in this example is the ability showing you how to upload a file into a folder on your server. Okay, so the context here is that I'm going to be Michael D. Higgins and I want to sign up to this website and I want to upload a photograph of myself. Okay, so hopefully you will try the same. So the resources are in Moodle. Just kind of this week and last week's there. There's the link to the hosted version. Okay, and then I'm giving you the full code. You're going to have to tweak it if you're hosting it on MySQL 0x with your own D number and your password, and also tweak the connection code for working on XAMPP as well. You're also going to have to tweak the actual folder where the files are going to be uploaded into. So I'll talk about that later on, but I want to just have an overview first. Okay, so there's the link. So here it is here, and I'm actually going to I've also got it on XAMPP. Okay, so here's the same thing here. Now there's a slight difference here. Just this is referring to an older version of the database table, member table, but the version you've got is called member table images. Okay, so my selects and inserts are dealing with that. So let's run it through localhost. The first thing you're going to see here is all this kind of, sorry about that, is all this sort of weird stuff here. Okay, now what I'm doing here is in the example is I'm using a PHP command called phpinfo, and what this does is it gives us loads of information about the server. Okay, now life's too short to go through all of it, but there are a few things I just want to search for in here that give us important information. Okay, so just do Control F to search there. So first thing is the server able to take files when we try and upload it? Okay, so we can check that here by typing FileUploads, and we see that FileUploads is on. Okay, so that's good. That means that we should be able to upload a file. Okay, the second thing I want us to search for, often what we want to do is when we sign in somewhere, we want to create a file on the server that's going to store some information. Okay, so that file is called a session, and a copy of that session file is then stored on the client side on the computer you're working on, in which case it's called a cookie. So you've probably all heard of cookies, turn cookies on, turn cookies off. That comes up sometime. So cookies basically allow the website to, if you like, personalize your experience. So for example, if you log in to Amazon, the first page after you log in, it says welcome back Philip, something like that. So when I log in, my username is stored in this little session file, and then that can access it and kind of personalize the page. Okay, so if you go into settings and the browser, it depends on your browser, of course. The newer version of Chrome gives you kind of less information than it used to. So if you go into settings, okay, let me just close that. Go into it again. Okay, so these three dots here, three vertical dots. If you go in there down to settings, Firefox, Edge do have slightly different ways to get in, but you can just Google that. Okay, privacy and security. Here we go. I can get rid of all my cookies here if I want, my history and so on. I'm not going to do that because let's just have a look at them as best we can. So we'll go in here, cookies and other site data, and somewhere down here, see all site data and permissions. Okay, so at the moment, I've got XAMPP working here. You can see the symbol here. Okay, so there are some files open here. So there are some cookies here because I've been running the server and I've been signing in, etc. Okay, now in the older versions of Chrome, you could actually see the cookies. You may be able to actually see the data on Firefox or Opera or other browsers. It doesn't seem to be available at the moment in Chrome. Okay, but in any case, the cookie file is a copy of this session file. Okay, so I've got a document here in Moodle. Why do you need a session file when logging in? Just to talk through that for a second. Whenever it decides to open. Okay, we'll come back to, oh, here we go. Okay. Normally when we're on web pages, there's no record kept of when you're sending and getting requests to the server to get various pages. Okay, and because there's no record kept, those protocols are called stateless protocols. Okay, so they don't really keep a record of what page you've been on. Okay, but if somebody is actually logged in to log out, we want to keep a record of them, or at least we may want to. Okay, so that's called a stateful situation. Okay, so we can do that by having this little file called a session, and it's, if you like, its twin on the client side, the cookie. Okay, so that's what a session is. Okay, it's a small file, and we can write information into it. Okay, so just like when we bring information across from one page to the other on a form, on a server, we use $_post. Okay, we can access this information as well using $_session. So we'll talk through that. Okay, and then when we log out, we want to basically delete the session file. Okay, so I'll show you all this at work, and it's easier to see it on XAMPP. That's why I'm going through this on XAMPP. Okay, there is a subfolder. Let me just show you that for a second. Okay, so my version of XAMPP is on the root of the hard drive. So in the XAMPP folder, we've got a folder called TMP. Okay, so it's now 8:10, 28th of March 2023. Okay, and if I just sort here by date modified, you can see there was a session file created here, SESS underscore, at 7:57. Okay, so if I sign in successfully in the next few minutes, a new file will appear on this page. Okay, so that's session. So let me actually okay, let me use XAMPP here. Okay, so I'm just going to go through here and we'll see how all this works. Okay, so I've got there is an SQL file. I'll explore that shortly, but essentially at the moment I've got 3 records created. Okay, so 3 users. One is an administrator, one is an ordinary user, and one has just recently signed up, so the administrator hasn't given them user status yet. Okay, so there's a field in the member table. It's not called that, sorry. It's called member table images. Okay, I just haven't updated the XAMPP version. Member table images. In fact, let's go and have a look now. It's probably a good time to do it. Okay, so here are my 3 records. ID, username, password is hashed. Okay, I'll explain that in a wee while. User address, user phone, image name. Okay, so when we upload the file, we're going to store the image name in the database record. And here's user status. Okay, 1, 0, and 2. Mary, Francis, and Paul. So let's sign up. Okay, M4RY. Okay, so Mary is in. Okay, here's Mary. Mary is the administrator. Typical things an administrator might do: select all records, update products, delete a user, add a product, and of course sign out. So you could have a separate nav bar for Mary for when she logs in. Okay, and then we're going to log out. So let's just have a quick look in here at our temporary file. Okay, 812, here it is here, session_798. Okay, if I right click on that and open it in Notepad++, we just drag that over here. Okay, and what we'll do here is, let's just leave that file there, leave this here, shrink this. Okay, and notice what's in this file. Okay, mary@b.c. So I have gone into the session file. I have basically written something called login user into the session file. S8 means it's a string of 8 characters. Okay, so there is a string of 8 characters, mary@b.c. Okay, so we'll log out now and just watch what happens over here. Okay, watch what happens up here. Okay, you can see the session file is gone. If I click into Notepad++, it's still here, but if I click here, I get this message here. The file doesn't exist anymore. Keep this file in editor. No, so that's gone. Okay, so the session file has been destroyed. Okay, so go in here and use try the other two there. Okay, and you'll see that you get to a different page. Okay, so I've got 3 pages here, and I'm going to explore the code in succeeding videos later on. Okay, so that's sign in. Let me come to sign up. Let's just see what's involved here. Okay, so I'm going to make a fictional account for Michael D. Higgins. Okay, you can see I've tested it already. Password just Michael. No inspiration this morning. Okay, and then these are all required, these form elements, so I need to put something in. Okay, and choose file. So I have downloaded an image of Michael D earlier. Okay, here it is here, mdh.jpg, and the code I'm giving you, I'm kind of limiting you to 500 kilobytes, and then the file format should be one of those 4 types. Okay, so we can do that for file. Excuse me. Okay, so I click on the sign up button. What we have to do first of all with sign up is we have to make sure the record is not already there. Okay, so that's good. I'm getting a message here, just a JavaScript alert, using PHP to write JavaScript. The number of records returned is 0, so my select all has returned 0 records. Okay, on the screen here, I'm just displaying some information about the image. Okay, this is just temporary, just for 10 seconds. Okay, and then we're bouncing to a show members page, and you can see there's the picture of Michael D. Higgins, and here is the account here. Okay, so if I go back in here and I refresh the page here, I will hopefully see the 4th record here. Okay, there it is, and here is the name of the image stored. Okay, so in succeeding videos, I'm actually going to talk through the code, but this is just the overview. These are things to look for, and just be aware the password is hashed. In fact, let me go into structure here for a second, so we can just look at password hashed. Okay, so I've got 128 characters. I've got a string of 128 characters storing the hashed password.